Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany Simon. We do philosophy through pop culture. We're using Love is Blind UK Season 2, Real People's Lives to learn about our own. Let's see what happens.
Growing up as an Indian girl, there was a lot of pressure. So I've only actually dated Indian boys.
Okay, I already love her. I think she's going to be one of my faves. Really sweet. Love that she's dating outside of her bubble. Love that she's putting herself in this situation, and we'll see how it goes.
My name's Chris. What's yours?
I'm Sarova. Let's say you're bringing all the finances to the table. What do you think your future wife would bring?
If I'm at work, you're doing everything else, making sure dinner's ready.
She seemed to like the idea that she wouldn't be paying the bills. It makes me wonder if people are more conservative in this bubble in a sense, or if this is just like the plight of heterosexual dating where like gender roles are very important. So we'll see about that. She's mostly dated Indian boys, so this will be her first time kind of moving outside of that bubble. And I wonder if she's more of a traditional girly in that sense. Obviously, I think we should deconstruct gender and gender roles, and I don't think that gender roles are overall good for people, but I think it's okay if you as an individual who happens to have said gender wants to take on said responsibilities. I just don't like the idea of like, you're the man, so you have to do this, or you're the woman, so you have to do this, or you're the non-binary top bottom, so you have to do, I don't know. It's just like, the expectations because you are this, meaning you have to do this, just feels really reductive.
Good, what's your name?
My name's Cal. What's your name?
Cal, my name is Sarova.
Sarova. Nice to meet you, Sarova. That's a lovely name, Matt.
Thank you.
So what would you do for a living?
So I'm co-owner of a medical company.
That's class.
Thanks, what do you do?
I'm a co-owner of a gym.
Oh, awesome.
So they already have a lot of overlap, right? So they're in a similar age bracket, few years apart. They're both co-owners of companies. So that's really good in terms of compatibility. And so far we're getting vibes.
Do you mind if we touch upon that?
Not at all. I've been single for a year and a few months.
Yep.
They're all very, what's the word? Like very, professional with their questions. Do you mind if I touch on that? Can we talk about this? The way they communicate is just very, it's nice. It's like, it's very not defensive.
Girl in Dubai was like amazing. Like I thought like this could be the one kind of thing. A few months in, I asked her to be my girlfriend, and then like after that, it shortly fell apart.
Okay.
And then since then, I've just learned like if something ain't right, like don't waste any time.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to rewind that. He dated a girl in Dubai. Interesting. Okay, and then it didn't pan out. How did he meet her? There's this red flag I see where it's like gym bro connected to Dubai. It's not Dubai as a place. It's the connection of gym bros pipeline to Dubai, i.e. misogynistic bubbles that make me raise a red flag. And that's what I'm concerned about. But then at the same time, like, yeah, if she wants a more traditional husband, that's the problem with tradition, is that tradition is rooted in misogyny and sexism. And so are you sure you want a traditional guy who's going to pay the bills? Because what culture taught him, it's his responsibility to pay the bills as the man. Probably a pretty patriarchal one, which means a pretty misogynistic one, probably, right?
Dating with intention.
Yeah.
Okay, so they want both dating with intention. They seem to be on the same page in that regard. I don't know. What are the vibes we're getting? Do we like him? Do we not like him? Do we like her? What's the vibes? Because I like her, but I don't know if I like her beliefs, depending on what she really meant about the whole like paying bills stuff, or like the insinuation from that conversation prior.
Obviously, I work hard, I've studied hard,
Yeah.
etc. I'd want to do it where I can still be present for my children.
Yeah, I'm quite old school and want to be the protector and provider.
Protector and provider might sound cute in your bubble, but in my bubble, it's a red flag usually. Protector and providers. What are you protecting me from, first of all? And provider in what context? And then dated a girl in Dubai and owns a gym? I don't know.
A force to be reckoned with, like together, me and you, I feel
Yes,
like.
that is just goals, 100%.
That is couple goals right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're going to go on a future date and see how their compatibility goes. Who knows? They might just be perfectly patriarchal together. Women do uphold the patriarchy.
With me, like I've got the gym, the nice things. People might misjudge that and think he's arrogant gym head, or maybe doesn't read, he's not intelligent, but it couldn't be further from the truth. I like reading, I like playing chess. I can cook, I can clean, I can iron. Very close to my mum, and because my mum lives next door to my grandma, I'm very close to my grandma as well.
Okay. He's basically trying to say that he's well-rounded. He's trying to say that I'm not just a gym bro, that there's more to me. Let's see.
And to be honest, I'm not sure whether I've fully, truly been in love yet.
A lot of people in this bubble don't seem to know if they've been in love, if they are in love, and what is love. And they're just kind of like, they're a little too old, in my opinion, to be having these conversations. Like, he's in his 30s. But then maybe that's just my philosophical journey and experience. I'm so used to being in a bubble with people who've been asking themselves these questions. I can't tell if these people are so philosophically stunted that they're genuinely like, they don't know if they've ever been in love and you're 32. Like, why don't you know that? Then at the same time, you know, this idea of love is so manufactured, it's so marketed that we don't even know what real connection is. And that's why we often do get into a lot of bad relationships. And so there's something to be said about that. Interesting.
So on the inside of my arm, yeah, it's a wee bit cheesy, but I like it.
Oh, go on.
I've got sheet music, and it's to the line of the Michael Bublé song, I Just Haven't Met You Yet.
A Michael Bublé song. What are you, a 40-year-old white woman? Very interesting. Also, since this is Love is Blind, is telling them you have tattoos, isn't that kind of like telling them what you look like? Because tattoos are such an interesting make or break. I know they talk about tattoos even in the American Love is Blind, but it is interesting because some people like do not have tattoos and some people have some tattoos. And so tattoos can be a deal breaker for a lot of people. So telling them what you look like in regards to piercings or tattoos, I don't know, it seems a little bit like cheating, I guess, but I don't know.
The idea is whenever I do eventually meet her, her name will hopefully go underneath.
Really?
Yeah, so then I have met her yet. That's why I'm here. I want to kind of have that permanent feature on me.
So his grand gesture of love is that when he meets the girl who's the love of his life, he'll tattoo her name into the song lyrics, and that'll prove like that he's really in love. I'm going to say this with the most peace and love respect. It feels like these are a bunch of teenagers dating. Your concept of love is so high school. I'm kind of shocked. But not really. Like, why is everyone so stunted this season? Like, he's 35 years old. He's a year younger than me. Why is your concept of love and relationship this stunted?
How important is intimacy?
So for me, it's probably one of the most important things. Like for me, it's like, I want to be with you and want to rip your clothes off all the time. Whenever I tuck into bed, I like being a little spoon. In the morning, I like waking up and turning into you. I'm having used a little spoon then.
They talked about intimacy and how important is it. And he said like he wants to, when he's around you, want to like pull your clothes off all the time. Yeah, it's just like a really elementary way of thinking about love. Love and companionship isn't about your partner always being sexy or always being like ready to sleep with you. That's like so how I thought in my 20s. And obviously, as you get older, you'll age into your elder years. You'll become disabled. You'll become, who knows, Alzheimer's, dementia. You'll die maybe. Like you'll have to really think about life in such a serious context that it feels like, I don't know, they're expressing so many like elementary ways of love. Intimacy for me isn't even sex, it's closeness. It's about seeing one another. So the fact that she asked how important is intimacy, which I assume was code for sexual intimacy, it's interesting that he only thought about the physicality, or maybe it's just the edit, because remember, like we are seeing an edit, but it is interesting all the same. And I think there's something to be said again about how they're expressing these things. And again, I know these are real people with real journeys and we all come from, environments that stunt us or help us grow. And he was in the military, is in the military for a long time. So maybe that's a part of his stuntedness. But I'm using this to learn more about our own lives. I don't want you to get to 35 years old and think that real love is getting your partner's name tattooed in lyrics, or real love is how often I want to take off your clothes. Like, real lifelong love that gets you into death do you part, like that has to be built on the consciousness of the person, and the details will be what they are. But like, I don't know, this just seems a little silly to me, but
How could I give you butterflies? Like, what would make you go, oh my God? For me, love an ear kiss.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I feel like anywhere in like that region, like neck, ear. I feel like really good eye contact.
They've just been flirting this whole time. It's the most superficial conversation, but that's okay. It happens. But people are feeling chemistry through the walls, which is important. But, I like her. I like him well enough. Like, I don't see any like huge red flags from anybody. But there's the superficiality to the conversation that I hope like they have a more serious conversation. But I guess the flirting is important. It would be, whether it's flirting in DMs or flirting through a wall, it sounds cringy, I guess, or like cheesy. It's never going to sound as good, but it does feel a little bit like, I don't know. I don't see a lot of chemistry here exactly, but I guess we'll see.
Physical intimacy is like a huge part of a relationship, in my opinion. And with Megan, I really could feel a lot of sexual tension through the wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's, we can all get it through text messages. I'm assuming the wall is even more because at least you're hearing their voice and stuff like that. Though I think it is on a slight delay, maybe. It must be weird because you're hearing it through a speaker. So you're not hearing it as clear and audible as we are hearing it. But I will say, like, we can feel intimacy and stuff over text messages. Of course, we can feel it with vocal through the wall, right? So, not that surprising, but good that they at least feel connected, because you're right, sexual intimacy is important. That's a duh. Even if you're ace or not even sexual in your relationships or indifferent to sexual intimacy, the intimacy still needs to be compatible. So maybe you still need to be compatible in regards to your desire to have less physical sex, but more intimacy with conversation, right? That still needs to be on the same page.
But I have a strong connection with Sophie. Hello?
Hello?
Sophie!
Karen!
question.
One question I wanted to ask you was, how would I give you butterflies?
Passion, I'd say.
You're going to have to go more than that. I'm sorry, I'm not accepting that.
Why?
I need more.
Why do you need more?
Like, how am I showing that?
Well, you can start with kissing me, and then everything else will lead to where it's supposed to.
You do not want to give detail, do you?
Okay, so he asked Megan the same question. How would I give you butterflies? And they talked about kisses or cuddling, or they were talking about sensory stimulation, which was interesting. But Sophie's answer was passion, which is more gray and not as detailed, obviously. And so he's kind of having to pull an answer out of her. But I'm assuming that's because in her mind, butterflies are more or less something more organic than something you can stimulate through like false intimacy connections. Because like if you've ever had a fuck buddy or a casual lover, you will know you can get butterflies, but it's more superficial than the real intimacy experience between a really high compatibility partner. You know, butterflies are an interesting way to say that you're making somebody feel vulnerable and seen in a sense. So maybe, you know, depending on how even Kieran means the question, it could change the answer. I guess I would ask Kieran, what do you mean by butterflies? You know, what does that mean to you? Because, you know, that might change my answer.
I just feel like if you get in one knee, I don't think you'll be disappointed, babe. Like, you're good on like this aspect.
Yeah, it's a big one for me.
Interesting. She's being very forward and blunt about marriage, but also we don't know what part of the conversation this is in. Because remember, the show is highly edited. It's meant to make us feel a particular way. And it isn't always true to how the contestants feel about their representation on or in the edit. So I am curious about that sort of conversation, it going this way. Like he asked her about butterflies. She talked about passion, and now she's talking about getting on one knee. Like, and she's being sort of arrogant about it, where she's just like, you won't be disappointed. But she's being aggressive about wanting him. So she's playing this toppy role and he's playing this bottom role of he's unsure and he's afraid. And it's causing a disconnect between, it's almost like she's not getting deep, but she wants him to marry her. And that doesn't make any sense. But then she did say she pulls away and feels like she puts up a wall. So it's weird. It's like an avoidant personality with an anxiously attached personality. And I'm very loosely using those terms here, obviously, because, you know, if we were to apply those, you know, medically, that would take a professional. But generally speaking, our very layman understanding of those attachment styles, which again is very, very not academic, it feels a little bit like they're clashing. But he feels reassured probably by her, quote, dominance. And she probably feels pretty good about the fact that she sees he's interested and unsure, but also maybe insecure about the fact that he's still not picking her. There's something weird happening, is what I'm trying to say.
I feel like we're sorted then.
We're fine, aren't we?
What more do you need to know, Kieran?
See, she's like, I can't tell if she's joking. Are you being sarcastic? I cannot tell.
I felt like quite a business deal, that one.
See, are they fighting? Are they flirting? Are they being serious or sarcastic? I actually cannot pick up their tones.
Shut up, Kieran. You'll be fine.
Yeah, see, that's what it does sound like. It sounds like she's just saying, like, shut up and marry me. And he's just like almost like she's being slightly mean about it. Because he's kind of making a bid for affection. He's saying, like, I don't feel secure yet. Can you make me feel secure? And she's like, shut up and marry me. And that's not the kind of security I think he's looking for.
Shake my hand and just be happy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Deal. Business done.
One of my biggest fears is falling in love.
Well, then, girl, what are we doing here? You are not in a good place to be if that's what your fear is. If your fear is falling in love, you shouldn't be dating to marry, right? Now, I think Kieran would probably be better to choose Megan in just the fact that it's easier, it's lighter, it feels like she's ready. But Sophie, I like Sophie, but Sophie has to go to therapy.
Letting someone see every element of you and ultimately deciding that that's not enough. I don't deal with rejection very well. I also don't put myself in positions to be rejected.
Well, that's the problem. Rejection is a consent issue. You got to let people reject you so they can consent. And so she's got to work on that. Rejection's great. Rejection is them being honest and transparent, and it's letting you know what to do moving forward. So she's probably not in a healthy place to be dating.
And I don't know if there's anyone truly in my life apart from my dad I've ever let see all of me.
Interesting, because there's nobody in life I've ever let see all of me until my partner and myself. There's no way my parents could see all of me. So then that begs the question, what do you think is all of you? And if your dad has seen all of you, has he seen you in your most intimate times? Because when I think of seeing all of me, I add in intimacy, sex. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when I think of someone seeing all of me, there's also a part of me that's like physically intimate. So a little strange for our family to be able to see all of us, in my opinion. But maybe I'm thinking of something different than she's thinking of when she says all of me. I'm thinking all of me, my whole consciousness, you know? Interesting.
I'm so scared of being heartbroken that I self-sabotage.
Yeah, she is self-sabotaging. I can see it in the way she's talking to Kieran.
If I don't show them all of me, then it's okay if I'm not enough for them, because joke's on them, they didn't see this side of me.
Go to therapy. You cannot, in my opinion, I don't think you should be dating to get married if you're still hung up on these things, because I think it's unfair to the person you're dating. I think you can casually date and be honest and transparent, but I think it'd be silly to say, hey, I'm ready to get married and give my all to you, but also here's all my baggage. And my baggage is stuff that like I should have been working on. So I'm not a big fan of it. I think you should be at a better, healthier state than this. But I like her, you know, this isn't a jab at her as a person. This is just people in this category of unhealed. Like, it's just, I don't know, it feels unfair to you and them. You know, I feel like she doesn't know herself well enough yet. And I feel like she could work on that.
I've had Megan, Sophie, like,
Back and forth, back and forth.
but you've got to start making, I can't, do you know what I mean? I've got to start doing something.
She just seems like a really nice, kind, sweet person, and that's like top traits that I look for in a girl. Points in my life I've nearly lost like both my brothers.
Oh my God.
My oldest brother, he was in the Royal Marines. He served in Afghanistan.
Wow.
And I think I was like 14 at the time, and one day we just got a phone call saying he'd been shot.
Oof.
Luckily, he was okay. And then my other brother, he's been to rehab, and like I've never had anything like that. I feel like I'm lucky, like, because
Yeah.
seeing the things they've gone through and then come out the other side. And
They're still themselves. They're still got
they're still
through
themselves.
it.
They're
Yeah.
still very much themselves. It's not changed them at all. They're still the same people.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, it's all right. I wanted to.
Sarover, I think that's how you say her name. And Cal, I've been dating and connecting, and he just expressed some like of his siblings' issues. His one brother was in the military, shot in Afghanistan, but survived. His other brother was addicted, but now is sober. And he said he's never really been through any of that. And he's kind of grateful, but also amazed at his brothers, you know, going through hardship and still being, you know, good people and showing up in the world. So she took that very well. You know, when you're dating somebody, when you're marrying somebody, you're marrying into their family in a lot of ways. So you have to think about what that means and how that interacts. These are like the future aunties and uncles of your kids. So you got to think about that as well. But they seem to be okay with it. He seemed to express that really well. She took it really well. So I don't think it's a deal breaker at all, but something to think about.
The building here is amazing.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that it's the same for both of us.
Okay, they seem to be vibing.
Cal is a super sweet, emotional person. I feel that's very rare to find in a guy.
Okay, that's sweet that she likes that he's sweet. He does seem sweet. He does seem sweet. You should ask him how he feels about Andrew Tate. Jim bro, who's been to Dubai. It just feels Andrew Tate adjacent. And if he's a fan of Andrew Tate, girl, you better block him. That's the question. Now you want to talk about deal breakers on a first date? Ask him what he thinks about Andrew Tate.
My family mean everything to me. My dad was my first role model I've ever looked up to, and he will forever be my... Why do you get emotional with silly little things?
Oh, Billy.
Okay, so they were talking about Billy's family, and he said that his dad was kind of having issues. He got injured, but he looks at him like a hero. I'm not sure about the details. He didn't go into it, but he was really emotional and vulnerable, and that was nice to see. I appreciate vulnerability like that. She received it really well. She reacted very well. I definitely think they're probably going to pair up at this point.
Tell me about your family.
Mum and Dad, yeah, sort of split up when I was sort of 16-ish. I felt like as the eldest child that I had to become the provider.
Oh, wow.
I kind of...
Whoa, parentified in her teens. Horrible. Parents split. Then she felt like she had to become like the leader. Oh, no.
took on the leader role, like the supporter role for my mum and sisters, and I've kind of got on the bills really quickly at a young...
Parentifying your teenagers enough to have to pay your bills is so insane to me. We really are too relaxed with having kids in the world. I cannot believe you brought a whole consciousness into the universe and then we're like, pay my bills. That's... whoa.
So I really want someone who brings and looks after me, because I've always looked after others. Real happiness in this relationship. I found it in myself and I found it in my career, but I've not found happiness, real happiness, Billy, if I'm being honest, in an intimate partner.
So you want to be joyful. Happiness is an emotion. It's a feeling. It goes in and out. But joy, you want to have stability of joy, a foundation of joy. So no matter how crazy the world gets, no matter how much the world tempts you to rock, it doesn't rock your foundation, right? So it sounds like she feels good in her career and good in her relationship with self, but she hasn't found that connection and intimacy. And I think that's so valid, like with another person. And I like that they both have, it feels like very similar energy in a sense. Like I could see them having like compatibility. It's like just enough trauma and roughness to find compatibility. Like not that they come from the same walk of life, but something like that. So that that bodes well for them, I think, in terms of connecting and understanding one another.
Have you ever considered any other jobs, or would you consider?
I have, yeah. I think at the moment crew is right for me because I'm single and I haven't got any family to worry about and I can jet off.
With this job, like I said, it's one of those jobs where like you jet off. And so it's not good in terms of having a local job. It's not good in terms of being a parent, I think. But it sounds like it's like having a parent who's a trucker. Like you're gone a lot of the time, or having a parent in the military. It's like you're gone. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel reasonable to bring a consciousness into the universe and then to say like, bye, I won't see you for most of the year. I don't know. I don't like it. So same with dating too. Like some people it works, but I think for most of us, we want to come home to our partner or at least see them more than twice a week. You know what I mean?
It keeps lingering in my mind that she's cabin crew.
What do you mean? You're military. Is he a local military or is he off? Let's see. He's an Army physical trainer. So maybe he's local. Yeah, but she can switch jobs, right? Like she said, she's open to switching jobs. I could see it. Like I definitely couldn't date somebody. I have tried enough to know, but I couldn't be with somebody who was gone a lot of the time. I'm not that person, but that's why they're discussing it. So I hope he breaks it up. I hope they have a serious conversation about it.
I have dated cabin crew in the past and it's not worked out.
Yeah, okay, so he said he has dated cabin crew in the past and the jobs just don't align, which is totally fair, right?
I don't want a marriage where we live in separate lives.
Agree. I don't want a marriage where we're living separate lives. We're two individuals on a team, but we don't, our lives work together. They're not separate. I can't tell you how many couples I've talked to, how many people I've talked to, and one works nights and one works days and they never see each other, or one works during the week and one works weekends, and it's just like you just start to really feel like roommates,
Let me take you way back to little old Patrick, my Jamaican mum, my Nigerian dad.
Wow, that's mad because Nigerians are strict and I think Jamaicans are a bit more freer.
You've painted my entire childhood together.
In Love is Blind America, one of the girls didn't want to make it clear what her ethnicity was because Love is Blind. He just fully expressed that. We can come to a pretty good conclusion about what he looks like now, which is fine. But it is one of those things. How do you tell your life story without bringing up an important part of it, like orientation or ethnicity? Like so much of my backstory starts with my parents are immigrants from Iraq. Like so much of Brittany's lore has to begin with the fact that my parents are immigrants because it changes how I related to the world, how my family related to the world. The moment you say, oh, like, what's your background like? My parents are immigrants. It starts to paint a picture in someone's head. So yeah, it's interesting. Love is blind. How can love really be blind if our childhood history is so significant for how we experience the world and then get treated because we look a particular way?
Obviously, because I'm obviously Nigerian.
Yeah.
Oh, did I tell you that?
No.
Actually, you didn't, but I kind of gathered, actually.
Oh, okay. So they have, overlap.
Was he Christian then?
Yeah, he was Christian. He was Christian.
And what was your mum?
I mean, she's Christian as well.
So are you happy that you had that upbringing or not really?
Absolutely. I wouldn't change it, I would not change a thing because this basically led me to where I am right now,
I don't know if I've told you, yeah, my mum was an immigrant and then now she owns a house and works for the government.
Incredible.
Do you know what I mean? And she's got 3 daughters that are educated.
They're both so optimistic and cute and warm. And so a part of me is like, man, they're going to get together, huh? I hope he's not a scammer. Girl, I hope he's not a scammer. I just hate the twin flames comment. That really bothered me. I hope he's sweet. He seems sweet, but that's how they get you. That's how they get you. He seems so warm. I hope he is. She seems great. I love her family history already. I love the vibe of it all. Very woman, I hope he's a good person.
You are someone who's very special indeed. 100% I can tell.
Oh, that's Patrick. Are you getting on one knee?
I might do, I always trust my spleen, I'm going to go with my feeling.
Your splendid, what was it?
Splenic awareness, yeah.
Okay, let's see how this goes together. What do you guys think? No spoilers, of course, but what do you think?
I had a very happy childhood, very loving. It's just the sad aspect of it is my parents divorced about 8 years ago. Christmas is one of my biggest things, and we used to always have such an intimate family Christmas. It would just be the 5 of us at home, and now it's you split it between your parents. And
oh, I love Christmas too, and we're right around the corner from Christmas here. I really love Christmas. I love that feeling. She said her parents divorced, and so now Christmas is split between 2 houses, and her childhood though was loving and there was family, and so it sounds like she'd like to create that in her future marriage and relationship.
Grew up happy, didn't have much, but we didn't want for anything. And then my mum and dad divorced when I was around 18. I think it was my first year at uni.
Exactly the same time as me.
Yeah.
And do you get to see your dad much, or is it a bit more that because he's?
Well, he lives in Dubai now, so when I was living
Wait, what's up with Dubai? What's this guy's connection? Is he Arab and I'm not realizing it? Like, am I confused? Is he from Dubai? Why is his dad in Dubai? I'm just so curious. Does he have a connection there?
My mum's English, and then my dad, he's from Pakistan. Got the Muslim side.
Oh, the Muslim side and the Christian side. Okay, so maybe that's why he's in Dubai, because that makes so much more sense to me. Yeah, definitely. Like, I've known Muslim friends or people from Dubai or the region or around the area. So that makes more sense to my brain. Okay, well, he's there. That makes sense.
My background heritage is...
Y'all are sharing a lot of details for Love is Blind. She just said her heritage is Indian. Hold on, pause, wait. How is this Love is Blind? This is... You know what I mean? America is so different. Like, the American Love is Blind, they try really hard not to express as much as possible, give or take, like the people, the contestants. But in Love is Blind UK, they are just out here sharing the details. That's interesting. Remember season 2? Shake, I think his name was. He was like, if I had to pick you up, could I? You remember? He was trying to guess what people's weight was. Like, it's very different. Love is Blind America. This is so interesting.
Indian.
I didn't know that, but I was going to ask.
Oh, did you not?
But this could be a conflict, you know. I'm half Pakistani. Will your family definitely accept me?
We got to break that generational curse and get along. We have to break these generational curses from our family and our legacies and this trauma, because, like, we cannot move into the future holding on to conflicts because of people's ethnicity and races and where they're from.
Are we just going to sort of solve history?
Conflict and a massive divide between India and Pakistan. 10, 15 years ago, me and her probably wouldn't even be having a conversation.
That's interesting. He said 10, 15 years ago, they probably wouldn't even be talking. Well, let's end that right now, girls. Deconstruct racial divides. Let's go.
I know from experience, a parent with an Indian daughter would not want them dating a half Pakistani or Pakistani guy. Like
that is why boomers and elders, we got to end those the generational trauma.
I've actually been cabin crew. I think I've been very much on the fence back and forth. I've been undecided, but I do have my reservations. I've come from a failed marriage. I want my next marriage to last forever. I don't want to hurt her either. I don't know if that's what is driving me nuts. My head's all messed up.
Billy's really struggling with her being cabin crew, which to me feels a little silly. Just talk to her. Are you willing to change your job? I want to be around you more. Could you get a job that's more local? I feel like she said she's open to it. So I can't tell if he's doubting himself. Also, because the experiment itself is really difficult and it's really hard to, pretend like this isn't just a weird situation to get married, especially since he's been divorced. Like, that's fair that he has reservations.
So I loved our first dates.
Totally.
But
I
think there comes a time where you have to kind of be honest to people.
And of course, they ended right there, leaving us on a cliffhanger. So we're on a cliffhanger for Billy and Ashley, but we'll just have to see what happens. I feel like this can't be that much of a deal breaker, right? It feels like weird that this is the deal breaker. So I feel like the editing is making us think he's going to break up with her, but they're actually not going to break up. That's my prediction. We'll see what happens. Thank you for being here. Please like, subscribe, send this to somebody watching the series, and let me know what your thoughts are, because I'd love to read your comments in the sections down below. All right, I'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.